There we go. Sweet. I think I figured out how to go live. Have to have the camera facing me before I turn it towards the canvas for whatever reason. Let's see, looks like I'm a couple minutes early, but that is a-okay. If any of you guys hear crunching in the background, that is Miss Muffin enjoying her lunch. My supervisor, you might have seen her posted on my YouTube posts or my Instagram posts here and there. She's not so good at doing her job. That's okay. She's cute and she's pretty. That's all I care about. Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to see if I can get the same cell reaction from one of my canvases that I did the other day. That video is coming out soon, but I will show you a sneak peek at these results. I won't show it all to you, but look at that. I want to try and replicate these right here. And that was with one particular bottle of white that I made. And that's this one right here. Whoops. Spoiler alert. Okay, so you might notice this white bottle has a blue tinge to it. That's because I added mica powder in with the paint. You can actually see a good line of blue right there. I gotta shake it up. But this is what I used with those other colors in the canvas. And that was the only thing that gave me these right here. I haven't gotten anything like those yet. Focus, there we go. I haven't gotten any results like those yet on any of my other canvas, so I want to see if that white that I mixed up is the key to creating those cells. But with that being said, it won't just be a normal white, it'll be a white with blue undertones. I'm fine with that. Okay, so for today's pour, I am going to focus on the color and different shades of green. None of my pour paintings have any green in them, except for one. And that was this one right here. Unfortunately, this was one that I did not get a recording of. It just kind of slipped my mind and I was doing a little bit of dabbling, but I really like how that's going on right here. Along with this is so nice. So I thought, you know, I don't usually do a whole lot of green, and I have a decent assortment of green, so gotta use it somehow. Alrighty, for our base layer of paint, could just go with white, keep things normal. I don't have to put a base layer down, but it definitely helps pull the colors when I start to tilt and turn. And I also got myself a Lazy Susan. If you don't know what that is, I'll go and grab it. You might have seen some other paint YouTubers have one where they put their canvas on something like this. It spins and the centrifugal force pulls the paint out. That's what I did last night, and it is a game changer. If you get at a point where you're tilting and you're like losing a whole lot of paint, one of these will definitely help you retain some of those edges and just kind of pull them out even more. So with the base layer of paint down that's nice and fresh, I'm hoping it'll just pull out the colors a little bit more around the edges, but there's only one way to find out. So let's get to it. I'm going to take one of these away, free up some space. Adjust the camera a little bit. Okay. Just right onto the canvas. And I don't know if using a butter knife actually messes up the painting or not. As you can see, it's not even when I spread it out like this. If I was to use the Lazy Susan, it would definitely make everything a nice level surface, which could be part of the problem why I'm not getting the results that I want. But as I've said many times on this channel, we shall find out. One good thing about having a butter knife in these grids, let me turn the camera a little bit. There we go. So I've got two different grids here. One thing I like to do is just wipe the paint off on this other grid. And if I need to dig out any paint skins that have developed, I can take a skewer, just a regular bamboo skewer, dig it out, and then use the corners to help pull the paint skin off. And we're good to go. That's my setup. Welcome back, Gamer Chick Gonna Win. Nice to see you again. Alrighty, let's see. Some of my other pour cups are still not dry yet, no surprise there. So I am going to grab a new cup. I do my best to try and use up my pour cups as much as I can, just so that way I'm not burning through cups once, you know, once a video or something, and then it's one and done. I don't want to do that. Okay, gonna move this out of the way. And to keep things what am I gonna say? Consistent, we'll add our base layer color, just so that way I'm hoping the colors that sit on top are gonna pull away from that base color, and maybe it'll give us something truly unique. Alright, so the colors I am going to be using today that I mentioned were going to be in the green family. Their consistencies vary differently just because I don't have a recipe for mixing my paints and my paint colors, but the consistency is what gives you these really unique cells and these different effects. So this will be very much a we'll see what we get kind of a situation. Alright, for colors, I have this one here that I mixed on my own. It's almost like a lime green, but it's more closer towards yellow. I used light green, come on, focus, light green dollar store paint by Cryology. Focus. There we go. Medium acrylic paint, water soluble. This is what you find at the dollar store, and it tends to be a little bit more thicker and on the gloppy side, so I do have to thin it out. And then I also used Apple Barrel Spring Green, and And I believe I also used bright yellow to help me achieve this color. A little bit of a shake off camera. Refocus, please. There we go. Okay. It's kind of a nice medium green, medium spring green. Okay, then we're going to go lighter with, this one is a little bit more on the liquid side, but it's almost like a pastel version of that spring green mix. This one had more yellow, and I've added white to help break everything up. And go figure, it's the one bottle that doesn't want to open up. There we go. Yeah, see how it just kind of goes through the center, and it's even pulling some of the spring green paint down with it. It just proves it's a little bit more on the liquid side. For contrast, we are going to go with Pine Green from Apple Barrel. And yes, I know I should have shooken these up off camera. This one is most notably going to be thicker. And I also mixed in a shamrock green, I believe it is. I'll have to dig through my bottles, but the shamrock green is a gloss, so I'm not going to add too much in this one, just for the possibility that the gloss is going to overtake, and by the time everything dries it might actually crackle, and I don't want that. This next color is most notably the most liquidy of them all, and it is a mix of the gloss clover green from Apple Barrel. Come on, focus, thank you. Deep phthalo blue from the dollar store, plus turquoise blue by Americana, or Americana, however you want to say it, and water. So we got a little bit of everything in this one. Probably more water than paint. Oh yeah, definitely. It's just disappearing. There we go. Okay, now we are going to add our white with the blue undertone in it. It's also a bit more on the liquidy side, but I'm hoping that will mix with the thicker colors. I'm gonna add a good, oh no. No paint skins. Okay, let's try that again. Paint skins will really ruin your painting. I don't want them. And you know what? To keep things light and bright, let's add a yellow. This yellow is a mix between canary yellow and bright yellow with, I don't think, any water. So I'm kind of hoping this one sits, and if I need to blow it out, maybe it will hide underneath the paint and it'll be like a nice bright pop of color. Alright, so here is our cup. Mustard. Oh no. I mean, it's not as bright as mustard, but I can see how you would think that. So for these bottles that I'm using, and let me move this out of the way. These are dollar store condiment bottles. So you could argue and say that this is ketchup and this is mustard. But I mean, it really works for being precise and needing that consistency and control. Alrighty, now that we got our colors, you know what? I'm gonna make that yellow sink a little bit more, and I'm gonna add, oh, look at that. So this is the same white that we added to everything else, but that yellow is bringing out those blue undertones. Don't look like white so much anymore. That'll be interesting. Alrighty, our cup is full. Let's go. Well, that's looking interesting. We'll hold that back. So I've got a lot on the canvas already. Quick look inside the cup. Oh, and look at that. We've already got some bubbles forming out here on the lines. When you get bubbles, that's when cells come up, and that's when you are most likely going to get cells. It's just a nice little peekaboo. Sorry, I'm gonna try and keep this in frame. I like that little pocket of yellow that's showing up between the green here in the upper left corner. Kind of makes me think of like scales almost. Okay, so I can either leave it as is, or I can bring it to the Lazy Susan. And if I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna need to turn the camera around and set it up so that way you all can see it. So one moment, I will grab it. And unfortunately, this bin here, this bin is not big enough to hold the Lazy Susan down at the very bottom. It tapers. It kind of goes in a little bit so it can be stacked. And that means the Lazy Susan, unfortunately, is just a little bit too big for this. Okay, hang tight. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Please. Okay, going up a little bit. I need to get myself a true tripod. Whoops. Okay, I want to turn you guys around without having to like completely rip apart my current setup. It's proving to be more difficult than I'd like it to. Okay, this will have to do for now, unfortunately. But here we go. Just little itty bitty changes are happening. Okay, so I've got the rest of the colors in that cup that I saved. I am going to go along the sides and kind of refresh it a little bit. This more than likely will change it, hopefully for the better. I want to keep that spot. But I just need everything to kind of stretch out just a little bit more. Whoops. Okay. Hey, that looks good. Almost can't tell I added some right there. You kind of can. Let's move this back a little bit more in the center. I really should have a center marker. Muffin, I need you to stay out of that, Missy. As cute as it would be to have kitty paw prints of paint, it's not gonna be so good cleaning up after them. Now we take care of the edges. There was a couple spots that didn't really want to mix together. And then we just make sure the edges are covered. So whenever I do this and you see my finger running across the edge of the canvas, there are some paint drips that don't go over the edge, and it just gives a more unified look. But it doesn't necessarily cover up the edges. I can grab some of my other pour paintings and show them in another video, but it just helps to make everything look more unified. Okay, taking this away, I am actually quite happy with that. Okay, here we go. Let's bring you guys back down to where you were at. Hang tight. There we go. That I am happy with. I like that a lot. So it didn't give me the same results that I was hoping for as far as getting cells go, but as I mentioned before, the green paint that I used was mixed unspecifically, and well, I take that back. I've got a few cells in there, but nothing quite like the blue painting. Let's bring it up for a close-up. Yeah, that looks cool. Oh, I like that bit. Here's a couple cells with the yellow and the green right there. Awesome. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me grab a new canvas real quick. And for anybody wondering how I let my pieces dry indoors without getting paint drips everywhere, I picked these up also at the dollar store. More grids. These are drying grids, or used for baking cookies, and you gotta set them on top to let them cool down before you can eat them. So I found those at the dollar store. And these are some plastic tubs that I got from a shelving unit. I've used them for previous pour paintings, but the slick and shiny surface helps to, it allows you to take the paint off once it gets, you know, covered in paint. But I use what I've got around me, and it's worked out really well. So let me set that aside. Take this one off, and I can leave it to drip dry. Where did my other canvas go? There it is. Okay, I'm going to zoom you guys out a little bit. Too far. There we go. All right, with this one, how about we do black, just to mix it up. And I might try to spin this one off camera just to make sure I do get an even surface. And we can see if that changes much of anything in the results. I am, though, still going to spread it out. There's already white in our cup, so I'm not worried about cross-contamination. Actually, I think that white might have dried already. Okay. Be right back. Hello. Alrighty. Let's reintroduce our colors. So a lot of the light greens and the yellows mixed really well together. I'm going to see if we can't get some darker greens in there and kind of do just like a light green pour painting and then a darker green pour painting. I don't know if I'll do a face reveal. I don't entirely like the idea of my face being on the internet. My voice is, you know, fine, but, you know, a little bit of mystery in one's life is not bad. Nah, I don't really want my face out there on the internet. Okay, so we've got that pine tree green. We're going to go in with the pastel green. Let's reintroduce that yellow. Just a little bit. And you know what? Since we have yellow, I wonder if I should add a little bit of orange into the mix, just to be different. I mean, it might look super cool. Yeah, why not? Okay, here we've got pumpkin orange from Apple Barrel. This, I don't think has anything but water in it. And if I did add water, it's just going to be a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty thick. I don't think I added any water. But we'll see what happens. Okay, we're going to re-add a little bit of that white and blue mix. looks a little bit more like white on camera than what it did initially, but in person this looks more gray. Isn't that interesting? Okay, we'll add in the pine tree green one more time. Just a little bit. And you know what? All of my paintings so far have had some kind of gold influence. And I want to keep going with that, so we'll add gold. Just a little bit. Okay, I think we are ready. There we go. Oh, I didn't show you guys the pour on the other side. That's okay. I'll save that for when I remix this video. Here we go. Why that orange is really wanting to stick to one side. Turn it. And save what's left. Oh, that looks pretty. Okay, so here is the cup. Focus. Thank you. No, thank you. Nice little pop of orange right there. That's where all the gold went. My goodness. Kind of looks like trees almost. That looks like a valley. There we go. Cool. All right, so here is our pour. We've got gold ribbons throughout here. Ooh, maybe some cells, and then that orange is just taken to one side. A little bit here, a little bit weaved in and out there. I don't think we'll see much of it. This is kind of cool. It looks like ribbons. I think if I was to use the Lazy Susan, that orange would just pull out. And yeah, I lost it. Yep, bye-bye orange. That's okay. Perhaps that orange was just too thick and there wasn't enough of it. I don't know if it would really be worth putting it on the Lazy Susan at this time, just because we already had enough and we pulled it to all of the edges, but this orange does look a little out of place. I don't have any more orange in the cup, otherwise I'd do a little dribble, but yeah, I don't think putting it on the Lazy Susan would really do much. So let's coat the edges, get those taken care of. Just really goes to show you, you never get the same painting twice when you do pour painting. That's one of the things that I really like about it. Okay, got some close-ups. Boy, that gold looks more like a brown. I hope it'll get brighter as it dries. That pastel green looked like it turned blue. That's pretty. Not one little sail, there are a few of them. Very interesting. I'll have to do some more close-ups as this dries. All right, away it goes. Okay, and then I've got 2 more canvas to use up. Got these little itty bitties from the dollar store. And I am going to keep the green theme going for today. Just because I've already got it in a cup and I'd rather use the cup until I can't use it no more. Although for the background color, I don't know. What do you think I should do for the background color? It might or it might not show through, but I've kind of noticed it doesn't really aid to the colors that I'm going to be putting on top. But what color would you like to see? Gold? Okay. That'd be interesting. We haven't done that one yet. So we'll take that one away. And we'll have the background color be gold. Okay, onto the Lazy Susan to pull it out. Get everything nice and level. A little bit of a refresher. Sorry. Kind of working with limited space at the moment. Okay, this gold is not wanting to spin out, so we're just going to work with that. Okay, again, we are keeping up with the green theme. Let's go for... Let's do our spring green, the one that mixed together with all of those different greens. Okay, that looks pretty cool in the cup. But let's continue to add to it, not too much. And then we'll go with the white. I'll go a little bit more with the white on this one. And this time, let's see what happens when we use the blue that I made a while back. This blue is deep blue from the dollar store mixed with phthalo blue and water. Get a nice dark blue there. This one is going to be on the heavier side, so I'll be careful with that one. And then we will go in with the teal blue. And we'll return right back to the greens. Add in that pine tree green again. And then the pastel green. Just to kind of help cut through it. And just because yellow. I must really be hurting for spring or something. All these greens and yellows and blues. Okay, there's the inside of our cup. Kind of looking like green eggs and ham before they turned green. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to do as thick of a pour this time around, or this as thick of a stream of paint. I do want that yellow to kind of stick around a bit. So we are just going to rotate the cup here and there. Pull it up a little bit higher. Okay, so now it's wanting to be kind of gloppy. Got some Seahawk colors in there for Seattle fans and whoever else. I don't know, maybe that's what I'll market this as. Seahawk painting. Ooh. Okay, this right here, that looks super pretty. Maybe we'll get some of that on this canvas. Okay, let's stretch it out. Whoops, don't go too fast. Kind of not digging how everything kind of just, I don't know, that center. I'm not really digging it. So I'm gonna pour it off. It just looks a little too chaotic and not, kind of like there's not a whole lot of flow going on. Oh, there's that gold. Maybe if I squish it towards the center, it'll look a little bit more cohesive. Is that the word? I don't know. I kind of, if this was a little bit more off to the side, I might not mind so much, but I think when I tried to like pour out the last of that cup, it just kind of, I don't know, the paint was too thick. Okay, let's have a look. A little bit of gold. I don't mind ribbons. I just don't want them looking like a crumpled up pile of ribbons, you know? Very interesting how some of this paint looks like it's gritty. Whoops. How did that happen? Okay. I do like it. It's interesting. And I am going to set this aside to dry. I won't pull it through the Lazy Susan. I don't think it needs it. Sometimes when it comes to pour painting, the best thing to do is to stop when you feel like if you're going to change it, it's going to ruin it or it's going to erase your progress. That's kind of one thing I had to learn early on. Is when I feel like I need to stop, I just need to stop. Okay. Let's see. For this next one, how about we go with a toilet paper tube as our applicator? So, that might be interesting. Okay, I have a dark blue gray that I mixed up with Benjamin Moore paint, but then I've also added some gold mica powder. You kind of see right there, that's where the paint currently was in the bottle. Let's add this as our base color and see if maybe we can't get like a planet in pour painting. Wouldn't that be cool? Make sure there's no paint boogers. So far in the negative spaces, this paint, I haven't really taken a close look at it to see if the mica powder shows through when it's dry. I don't think it really does. But when it's wet, sure is pretty. I don't think my camera's picking it up. It kind of is. But it's nice and liquidy. Whoops. Well, I need to figure out some way how to keep this from spinning out of control. Okay, 1 second while I get the paint to the edges. Let's just go over it again. Or you know what? Why not add some more gold back in there? That'd be pretty. I find myself drawn towards dark blue and gold quite often. Or dark blue and copper, that's like one of my favorites. That looks pretty. Okay. So on camera, this is looking more blue than it is a dark gray. Oh yeah, I like that. Too bad it's gonna get covered up. Okay, so we've got our blues, greens, yellows. Let's reintroduce the whites. And for that, I'm gonna go with a basic white that I've mixed up from Apple Barrel. It's got water and pouring medium. Pouring medium is also from Apple Barrel. And it's supposed to just thin out your paints without taking away their color too much. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I've noticed though on the outside, when I use these to pour the cup into and I pull it up, the outside is almost always not thinner, not cloudy, but it just looks more faded. So I wonder if I can somehow play around with that. So we're going to go with white. We're going to add back in the gold. Maybe I can get like some kind of a halo effect. That would be neat. Going back in with the, whoops, didn't realize I was in frame. Pine tree green, right in the center. Hopefully get some continents in there. And then we'll go with the pastel green. Also right in the center. We already have blue inside the cup, so I'm interested in seeing how that will turn out. And then we've got the pastel green I'm going to add. One more time with the gold. We'll go once more with the white just in the center. Regular white instead of the blue toned white. And I think that's good enough. Okay, we've got our roll. We're going to go right in the center. Bring this back into frame. Well, frame for me anyway. And here is the inside of the cup. Let's see what happens. We've got the gold and white going in first, followed up by the green. A little bit of gloppiness. Okay. I'm going to try and zoom you guys in. Here we go, focus. Can kind of see there's something going on in there. Okay, zooming back out. Stay. We're gonna do a 1, 2, and up. Whoa. Definitely a halo. Very interesting. Not quite what I was expecting. I know though, once I start to spin this out, this little halo effect around here is going to go away. But I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I agree. Moonlit ocean, that sounds pretty cool. Let's pour off some of that extra stuff. What's going on with that center? This little bit right here. Okay. Let's take this to the Lazy Susan and see what we get. Hold tight for just a moment. Whoop. Stay. Okay. Ouch. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, Muffin, you're fine. It is pulling it out more. That's a lot of, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do with that space. Let's have a quick look of what's left in our cup. Still a lot more green than I'd like. White and gold. Maybe I can do another drizzle. That's the thing about pour painting. Sorry, not the thing, but another thing about pour painting. Sometimes you just never know what you're gonna get. What are you doing, Missy? Supervisor's getting herself into trouble. And then I wonder if I can just do a little squirt of our background color and see if that does anything. So much for that halo effect. I mean, it started out great. Oh, Muffin, do not like the Lazy Susan sound. You know it's not going to attack you. You know what? I'm not ready to stop with this particular one. So let's just see if we can cut through. I'll let go. Let's see if we can cut through with our base color. Now it looks like a shooting star. Yeah, it did. But I just wonder what would happen if I did that. Doesn't seem to be pulling out anywhere else. Well, this is confusing. You know what? I don't think I'll be able to keep up with what it initially started out as. Sometimes it just don't quite work out the way you wanted it to. So backtracking from my initial warning of stop when you're happy with it and it looks good, this is the complete opposite of that, ironically. Just because, well, for one, I'm not happy with it, and second, I do want to see what this ends up turning into. So I'm just picking colors mostly at random. And we are, in fact, going to see what happens. I don't know, maybe we'll get something completely brand new. But progress is progress, no matter how you look at it. Be it negatively or positively. As long as you are moving forward and making changes. Well, that just looks interesting. And I see a paint skin. No more. Woo! Whoops. This might have to be one that I blow out. Well, you know, now everything's just telling me to stop. There are some paintings where I feel like it can't get any better. It's might end up getting worse, at least in my eyes. And this is just one of those, you know, maybe I'll keep it for later and I'll find out a way how to embellish it to make everything work. But until then, it's definitely going to be a holdback for me to work on. But here's a close-up anyway. Now I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. All right. It has officially been my very first hour-long live stream. In order to not crash my battery, I think I'm going to call it here. Wash these messy hands of mine. And call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you guys next Monday at 2 p.m. provided we still have internet, because snow is still somehow on the way. It was supposed to be here last week, but I kid you not, the weather kept on changing seemingly hour by hour. So it's February. We'll see what happens. We probably won't get snow until like late February into March. All right, I will see you guys next Monday. Bye-bye.